wonder if an animatronic can sense your fear? Believe me, the next 13 might just prove it. I'm Walt, and I've spent months preparing something very special for tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lilybell. I'm so happy to be here with all of you, especially with Walt. I can't wait to show you the 13 creepiest animatronics that'll haunt your dreams.
Oh, thanks, Lilybell. I love you too. But don't get too cozy, because these next 13 animatronics, they're anything but sweet. Ready to face some nightmares?
Number 13. Let's kick off this ranking with something very, very mild. These animatronic trees from Great Wolf Lodge in Washington. They were created by our beloved Sally Rides. And you'd think it's just a cute, wholesome family show. But, oh my god, just look at these nightmares with roots. I'm sorry, but these trees are pure nightmare fuel. They're so creepy that they've even been mentioned in horror subreddits. These trees don't need water. They need therapy. With those eyes, they can probably see straight into your childhood traumas. And it's not just their design, it's how they move. Everything about them is unsettling. The rigid expressions, the eerie lighting that casts strange shadows, and of course, the natural wear and tear that just makes them even creepier. And let's be real, people are now so used to animatronics with smooth movements and adorable designs. Kinda like someone I know. Wow! These animatronics are proof that sometimes nature comes to life and sends us the therapy bill. Number 12. Now we're moving on to an animatronic that's basically a wired-up urban legend. It has been the subject of thousands of online discussions because, honestly, what on earth is this thing? This hellspawn of an animatronic has appeared on Reddit countless times, with people desperately trying to identify it, and failing. But you know that here at Fastpass Facts, we always solve these mysteries. And we found out that it was created by Take One Limited. They're known for making animatronic props and figures for haunted attractions and Halloween decorations. But this is next level creepy. Surprisingly, this animatronic doesn't make any horrifying sounds. No demonic growls, no eerie whispers, nothing. But it does play a version of the Addams Family theme song. It's probably meant as a nod to Thing from the Addams Family, but instead of giving us nostalgia, it gives us nightmares. What makes this truly terrifying is the mix of a grotesque aesthetic with an unexpectedly cheerful performance. Your brain can't decide whether to laugh or run for your life, and that just makes it even more disturbing. Number 11. In 2023, Louis Vuitton decided that the best kind of marketing is the one that gives you trauma. Because instead of a simple ad, they gave us this. To promote the Louis Vuitton x Yayoi Kusama 2023 collection, the brand installed a hyper-realistic animatronic of the artist right in the storefront of Fifth Avenue in New York. There you could see Kusama painting polka dots with subtle movements and eerily realistic expressions. But this wasn't just in New York. They also placed these animatronics in Paris, Tokyo, and London.
Because why creep out just one city when you can creep out the entire world?
The figure was made from special silicone, had hyper-realistic hair, and could turn its head, blink, and move its mouth. It even held a paintbrush and, through a synchronized effect, painted polka dots on the glass. And the worst part, or best, depending on how you see it, is that the animatronic was motion activated, meaning it reacted whenever someone got too close. Although the exhibit was temporary and the animatronics were later removed, a lot of people found them deeply unsettling. Why? Well, between the way they followed people with their gaze and their almost human movements, they fell straight into the dreaded uncanny valley. Yes, they were creepy, but let's be honest, it was a brilliant marketing strategy.
And a terrifying one.
Number 10. Okay, this is not CGI, a deepfake, or some weird AI experiment. This is a giant Frankenstein made out of paper mache. This is part of the Carnival of Via Reggio, a festival in Italy famous for its massive and incredibly detailed parade floats. But in 2025, they went way over the top with this mechanized beast, which could easily trigger megalophobia. This terrifying masterpiece was created by local artisans and engineers. They combined traditional papier-mâché techniques with animatronic technology, resulting in a 65-foot-tall structure with impressively lifelike mechanical movement. And it's not just Frankenstein. The float also featured a burning windmill, as a nod to the classic ending of the story, and animatronic crows flying around, making the whole thing even more unsettling. This float is proof that the talent for creating incredible animatronics exists all over the world. And even though it's a little terrifying, it's also seriously impressive. Number 9. From this point on, things are about to get even creepier. So if you're still here, drop a skull emoji so we can identify the brave ones.
Or so we know who to contact if you mysteriously disappear after watching this.
This next animatronic is the definition of a mechanical nightmare, courtesy of Sally Corporation. It was created for an attraction in Dubai. And let me tell you, this kid makes Ennard from Five Nights at Freddy's look like a bedtime story. It runs on pneumatic actuators, which makes it more expensive, but easier to maintain in the long run. But the truly terrifying part? You can see all its exposed mechanisms. Its piercing stare is already creepy enough.
This thing is so terrifying that even William Afton would run away from it.
But add to that the moving pistons and cables, looking like some kind of mechanical veins, and the result is just unsettling. So what do you think? Creepy or not that bad? Let me know in the comments, if you can still sleep after this. Number 8. What you're looking at here isn't a scene from hell, although it might as well be. This is the E.T. animatronic, created by the legendary Carlo Rambaldi. And if you thought E.T. looked unusual in the movie, wait until you see him now. This animatronic was built for Steven Spielberg's 1982 classic, and at the time, it was a technological marvel. It had 85 points of articulation and required 12 professional puppeteers to operate. But in 2022, it resurfaced in the worst way possible, skinless. Literally, it was put up for auction, exposing all its wires, pistons, and electronic components, making it look absolutely nightmare-inducing. Just look at the difference between the original version and the skeletal robotic horror. And yet, it's still considered a historical piece, which is why it sold for $2.56 million.
Imagine paying millions just to have this thing sitting in your living room, watching you sleep.
Well, we can't really judge. For some, we might be a little spooky. And honestly, we'd love to have it as a roommate. Now the big question. Would you buy this if you had the money? Let us know in the comments. And don't go anywhere, because what's coming next is even more terrifying. Number 7. Okay, if you thought Skinless Et was the creepiest thing we'd see today, buckle up, because this is a whole new level of nightmare fuel. This giant head is a nightmarish creation by the South Korean company Gentle Monster for the Selfridges department store in London. This installation was part of the Super Futures exhibition, which explored futuristic visions through unsettling works of art. And, well, mission accomplished. The head stands 2.7 meters tall, is kinetic, and its purpose is to challenge human perception of our relationship with machines. Or in simpler terms, make us question whether robots are already planning to replace us. More like your creepy distant cousin. There are no official sources confirming whether this installation uses servo motors to move its eyes, eyelids, and head, but it's highly likely. These motors allow for precise, realistic movements, which enhance the visual impact and also the sheer terror factor. But heads up, because this isn't even the worst animatronic head on the list.
Oh no, there's something worse?
Oh yes. But before we get to our top 3, let's take a look at something truly bizarre. Number 6. Okay, so we've already covered giant creepy heads, skinless animatronics, and now, a mechanical foot doctor. Because clearly this was the missing piece in our list. This bizarre yet terrifying animatronic is both a work of art and a literal nightmare, created by Tim Hunkin. And it goes by the name the Foot Doctor. This strange animatronic is part of the Novelty Automation Collection, and its purpose is to entertain you, while also making you question every decision in your life.
And your choice of footwear.
Tim Hunkin designed this machine with the intent to subvert expectations. It's a satirical take on a medical consultation, offering a peculiar, surreal therapy that blends absurdity with mechanics. But how exactly does this mechanical nightmare work? First, you insert a coin, and the machine activates. Suddenly, an animatronic podiatrist emerges and moves toward your foot. It uses gears, cams, and other mechanisms to simulate an examination, complete with eerily precise movements. And just to make it even worse, the experience is accompanied by strange sounds. But what makes it so terrifying is the thought of a machine examining and handling your foot while you just sit there. It's uncomfortably invasive.
Yeah, no thanks. My feet are just fine.
Well, this is just one of the weirdest creations from Novelty Automation. But things are about to get even more disturbing. Number 5. Oh boy. We've always wanted to talk about this demonic creation, but we never really had the chance. And now that we do, buckle up. Because seriously, what were they thinking when they created this monstrosity? What you're looking at here is supposed to be the daughter of Edward Cullen and Bella Swan in the Twilight Saga. But why did they make her look like this? To bring her to life, the production team hired Legacy Effects, experts in animatronics. They've worked on movies like Jurassic World and even created Grogu. Renesmee? Yeah, this was not one of their finest moments. They gave her super weird proportions and a terrifying smile. The idea was to have a physical baby on set so the actors could interact with something real, but it turned out horribly wrong. So much so that the actors hated it. Nikki Reed said it was horrible, ridiculously heavy, and made acting impossible because they couldn't stop laughing or freaking out. The animatronic was controlled remotely, with 2 puppeteers moving its limbs from below. But it was such a disaster that even director Bill Condon called it one of the most grotesque mistakes we've ever made. And if that wasn't enough, the abomination earned the nickname Chuckesme. Because honestly, it looked more like a killer doll than a baby. Eventually, Chuckesme was replaced with CGI. But let's be honest, that wasn't much better.
So basically, we had 2 options, a possessed doll or a CGI baby straight out of a 2003 video game.
Even though Chuckesme never made it into the final film, it became a cult legend among Twilight fans. Today, it lives in the Twilight Museum in Fork, and many say it's haunted. So tell me, do you think this animatronic has something paranormal going on? Or is it just the result of a terrible creative decision? Number 4. This is the animatronic figure of Abraham Lincoln from Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. Pretty impressive, right? A little creepy the way he stands up, but still impressive. Now, this is the Lincoln animatronic at Buffalo Ridge Cowboy Town. Big difference, huh? Buffalo Ridge 1880 Cowboy Town, located in Buffalo Ridge, South Dakota, is an attraction that recreates a Wild West town, populated by animatronic figures acting out scenes from 19th century life. Among these figures is a representation of President Abraham Lincoln, and let's just say, it's known for its unsettling appearance. From a historical standpoint, this Lincoln animatronic is a bit questionable because, well, Lincoln never even visited South Dakota. He died in 1865. So historically, this is completely inaccurate. But they still felt the need to include him in the park. What makes this Lincoln so terrifying is not just its bizarre design, but also the wear and tear it has accumulated over time. And let's not forget the way its jaw moves in an oddly disturbing manner. Honestly, if they weren't going to be historically accurate anyway, they should have just gone all in and made it a haunted attraction with historically terrifying figures. What do you think? This Lincoln won't give you an inspiring speech, but it will give you some serious nightmares. Number 3. What you're looking at here is an experimental animatronic head created by Undertaking FX, a YouTube channel dedicated to practical effects and animatronics.
Well, it was a channel, because it looks more abandoned than an 80s theme park attraction.
Their last video was uploaded 14 years ago, and they only have 7 subscribers, making this feel like a channel lost in time.
Or like the creator was absorbed by their own creation.
Walt, let's not feed conspiracy theories. But all that aside, this animatronic head is pure nightmare fuel. It has orange eyes that look like ping pong balls, creepy humanoid jaw that moves unnervingly, and burnt-looking skin that makes it even more unsettling. The clip is only 17 seconds long, but that's more than enough to feel genuine terror.
It's also enough to make us seriously question our life choices.
Yeah, because honestly, we spend way too much time on YouTube finding things like this. But this isn't over yet. Now we're down to the top 2 spots. Get ready, because what's coming next is the scariest thing on the list. Number 2.
What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
Oh boy. This head has been the subject of dozens of TikTok theories and misinformation over the past few months. But the real story behind this head is actually even more interesting than any conspiracy theory. This animatronic head was created in 1989 by The Robot Group, a collective of artists and engineers from Austin, Texas. It's a semi-human animatronic head, mounted on a white accordion-style neck. And wait, because its construction is a disturbing work of art. It's made of carved wood, hand-forged metal, and even a natural root that simulates a brain. Its eyes are hand-forged silver with glowing LEDs. Its lips are made of black silicone, because obviously it couldn't get any creepier. It moves using servo motors connected to a mini SSC2, allowing for eye, mouth, and neck movement. And the best part, or worst, depending on how you see it, can talk. It uses a DEC talk speech synthesizer, which lets it speak and even sing in that classic robotic voice. It has appeared at science fairs, conventions, and TV shows. Currently, this head is stored in Austin and needs repairs, but its legacy of nightmares lives on. And now that you know the creepiest animatronic head in the world, it's time to reveal our ultimate champion. Number 1. And now, the moment has arrived. Let me introduce you to our ultimate champion of animatronic terror. This is the Protoclone, a creation of Clone Robotics. And honestly, this could be the beginning of a sci-fi horror movie, and not just because of its terrifying design, but because of the potential consequences of an autonomous robot.
Seriously, did we learn nothing from Terminator, Mithrigan, or iRobot?
Apparently not. But what exactly is this technological abomination? Who created it? And why? Clone Robotics is a Polish-American company specializing in biomimetic robotics. Their goal is to develop humanoid robots that faithfully mimic human anatomy and functionality. This is supposedly meant to enable a more natural and efficient interaction between humans and machines.
Translation, we are dangerously close to robots replacing us. Well, you.
Why is it so unsettling? The Protoclone has sparked mixed reactions. Its faceless design and jerky, unnatural movements and demonstrations have been labeled as terrifying and dystopian. Because, obviously, who wouldn't want a faceless robot moving erratically in their home? Right now, the Protoclone is still in its development and testing phase. But pay attention. Clone Robotics plans to produce a limited edition of 279 units called Clone Alpha, and will start taking pre-orders this year. These robots are expected to perform household tasks like cleaning, cooking, and organizing, as well as be used in healthcare and manufacturing. Do you think these machines and AI advancements are the future, or the beginning of humanity's downfall? Let us know in the comments. This is definitely a debate worth having. And with that, we say goodbye. I'm so happy to have been here with you all. And in the next video, we'll take a closer look at how I work, along with other animatronics. And I'll be answering a bunch of your questions. See you next time. And remember, we always quack back.